Díodíobh agus fáilte romh ag córa specialta Maidir Leonard Niski G. Reva. Hi folks, and welcome to a special discussion of our Desert Island Discs. Is Misha Neil.
Agus is Misha Emma.
Mar sin, I gad don BBC, tá 2 óran an duine réinithe agin. 2 óran atá specialta doing, agus tá much chun play a dhéanú orthu. So with apologies to the BBC, we've chosen 5 songs each, 5 songs that are special to us, and we're going to discuss them. Ach, so we're going to tús leis sin. Before we start that, Emma, tá tusa I the dhismharcach na leitheanta seo nach chfuil. Conna sa harla sin. You're working as a DJ these days, aren't you? So how did that come about?
Well, is toch gur hosig sé amach nor a bhí mé san ollscoil. Cúpla bliain ó hin faoi nám seo. So it started out when I was in college and university a few years ago now. Agus bhí found chlár radio a chur le chéile le charlam. Agus hosníamar amach le chlár dor bhanim power trip. So I wanted to put a show together with a friend of mine on the radio, and we started out with a program called Power Trip. Emma Power. Emma Power and Tanya Orm. So my name is Emma Power. I thought it would be a good fit. So hosníamar le sin chlár bricfásta a bhí ann, agus bhí mar an air is tócha ar feadh 3 uair chlig, nílim cinte. So we started off with a breakfast show, and we were on air for between 2 and 3 hours. I'm not sure, maybe it was 3. Agus bhí mar ag caint agus ag córa agus ag casa ceol. So we chat and talk and also play music. An son, chríochnaigh sé sin agus tháinig mé chun na Gearmáine cúpla bliain ó hin, agus bhí mé gcónaí ag smaoinemh ar on chlár radio agus on radio go ginearálta. So I came to Germany a few years ago then, and I was always just thinking about the radio and a radio show. Agus hosig me an son le Radio Fáilte. So I started then with Radio Fáilte, an Irish language radio based in Belfast. The cuasa siúlacha the Law Idirnáisiúnta na Man. Agus bhí mar ábailte fálam conas chlár radio a chur le chéile Latin sa bhaile. So they had a course for International Women's Day, and we could learn then how to put together a radio show alone at home. Agus bhí sé sin fearfadomsa, mar níl studio agam, táim sa bhaile an sa Gearmáin, mar sin hosig mé an son le Crí na Nochtadaí. So that was perfect for me because, of course, I'm in Germany, I'm at home, I don't have a studio here, and I started with my show Crí na Nochtadaí, heart of the 80s. Let's roughly translate it to that. Agus, yeah, the rest is history.
Wow, fantastic. So tá sean taithí agad leis a dhismharcaíocht that you've been doing it for a lot longer than I knew about. Lovely. So tá grádó an agad sa den cheol, you have a big love for music. Agus Misha lat, mar scioltóir Misha chumá. Me too, because I also play a bit of music in my time. There's always a few instruments knocking about here. So, tinhuid tús mar sin, let's start. So, Emma, inis doing fi the chéad ré. Tell us about your first choice.
Well, ag smaoinemh ar Crí na Nochtadaí ar nóig, bhí fánarm tosú amach le árán le feardar banim Steve Monight. So thinking of my 80s show, I wanted to start off with a song by Steve Monight. And is bhí cur amach agam ar Steve Monight agus Mason Ollscoil, bhí tháinig árán leis chun cín I meas clunaíne óga dar banim Only You. So I kind of knew of him when I was in college, and because a song of his kind of became popular amongst the young people. I think there was a remix done, and someone covered it called Only You. Agus an son diach me an ní album is tócha gur LP new single a há gist. Yeah, LP an agus díach mé ar an B-side. So I looked at the LP of his titled Only You, and I looked at the B-side of it. Agus sin tá Welcome My Love, agus Canella Dorbanum Things Fall Apart. So there's two songs there, Welcome My Love and Things Fall Apart. Ach, ag smuoinmh ar a bheith ar Ilan Lomhain, if I had to think, to be honest, by myself. Níl tá Things Fall Apart begoní níl an focail agam. I don't know, níl sé cho sásta nó cho is socha le Welcome My Love. So tá níl an ceann seo liom, tháinig sé amach in 1984. So I like this one, it came out in 1984. Tá níl gachrod faoin an liom, tá sé go húntaach ar fad. I really like everything about it. It's really great. Agus bíonn sé á chasa gom agus mé géirí, you know, cúpla tune chur ar siúl the smachard freshen. So I always play it when I throw on a few songs for my friends even.
Well, Sean Chéidir dúsa é seo chlisteil agus bavrála mé chlisteil ar an Urlar Dausa. My first time hearing this one, but I'd love to hear it on the dance floor because it is upbeat, merger to sé gal agus, you know, is féidir Dausa leis and just her fad. So as an Afric an Torin from Africa. Yeah. Agus tá lán ceol, is tócha gur hánig a lán ceol ón Afric chun cin le blianta blogga anuas. A lot of African music has become popular in other parts. I don't know Steve Monite, but people like William Onyebor, I think his name is. Melan are ceol ón Etop Chama from Ethiopia. A lot of jazz and funk and great stuff from over there.
Yeah, but Komala sin Tahanian ceol ón Africas lom. So I really like South African music. Brenda Fassie, tá siise go húntaach. So Brenda Fassie is brilliant. She's really good. Agus me, yeah, nor bhí me casa árán an sá, bhí me cúpla kosher an sá go háirithe I Milan an sá sa Germán, agus it's le fear on Africa le so I often play in a restaurant here in Germany, and a fella from Africa owns it. So I love to play everything African, but go harder heraldry on Africas that he's from that area. So I specifically play South African stuff when I'm playing for him. Agus Tahanian gach árán leis, and he likes every song, so it's more on an ordo mission. So I'm always honored when he comes to me at the end and says, Anava, Emma, very good.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
And that's so fat. Well, Raiden Scotland Shin, a fantastic choice. August the Machéid Ray Hain to David Bowie again. So my first choice, Space Oddity by David Bowie. Willen Torlanshaw or Rollus Ugitse, Emma?
Chula mé cúpla úra. I heard it a few times. Ach níl na focail Rollus gom ach yeah, Tahanian sé lom, tá sé anna bhar fad.
Well, tá mise I Milantor the Chudge Bowie le blianta fada inis agus Beisho and Chéadoran a chula mé the Chudge. I've been a Bowie fan for many years at this stage, and this was the first one I ever heard. So Ernoid Ach special to Ignoran Sean Machri. It's got a special place in my heart, of course. It's not quite as dancey now. I'm just thinking my choices are not quite as dancey as all of that, maybe. But we could make 20 lists like this, couldn't we? Ach, is Brian Bowie, mar Alin Tor, mar Hjol Tor, agus I love him as an artist and a musician. Agus Beisho a chéad hit more is docha. It was his first big hit, his breakout hit, you would say these days. Agus scéal aisteach bronnach atá I gceist, fear atá taistil sa spás, agus ag deireadh cibé rud a tharlaíonn tuigeann sé nach mbeidh sé fille a bhaile, nach mbeidh sé teacht a bhaile, agus beidir go nlacann sé lei sin nach mbeidh sé fille a bhaile. So it's a funny, strange, sad story about a fella going off into space, and I say a fella as if he's from down the road from me, but and whatever happens out there, he realizes that he won't be able to return, so it's sad, but he seems to also accept it, or maybe he doesn't want to return. So it's a very strange sci-fi song, and almost like a cartoon in a way, because there's little elements to the story. So is Brala Matoran, I love the song, Tan Ceol go Halín, agus Marialler Bowie, it's got a special place in my heart, and the first one that got me into Bowie. Good bra. So sin ma chéad ré agus cad eile atá agatsa, Emma?
Well, ag dul ón disco inis araig go dtí rud éigin níos tradiisiúnta, rounding me Spancel Hill. So coming from the disco stuff into something more tradiisiúnta, more traditional, I chose Spancel Hill. But an lagan a yen Christy Moore agus the Pogues. Agus ní lista gom céin fá ach taithníonn an ceann sin lom níos mó ná lagan Christy Moore leis féin mar hampla. So I don't know why, but I love the version done by Shane MacGowan or the Pogues and Christy Moore, more than just Christy Moore's version on his own. I think the live version, there's just something about it. Taithníonn an Mascon, this na gohanna a háin lom. So go Shane MacGowan agus an son go Christy Moore. I like the mix of the voices, so Christy Moore's voice and then Shane MacGowan's voice. So dá meach an seansa gom lagan de sin a bheith gom dlú disca nó péro de bheith gom an Ilan lom hain. Yeah, fechan count sin a gom. So if I had the choice, if I could have that live version on a CD while I'm on my own on the island, on the desert island, I'd take that one.
Wow, tá sin simil. Is somí lagan atá ar fáil ar nói. So many versions of the song being an old traditional one. Agus tá mé cinse go mé an tóran seo ar rólas i go lean éistóirí agus a lean daoine. I'm sure many people will know this one. So many versions around. Agus scéal imreacha atá an ar nói, an immigration tale, really. So a classic, we'd have to say, classicach. The chud ceol na hÉireann. Go bra. And neat segue, Nish. Now, we haven't planned this on purpose, but very neat segue because Louis to Shane MacGowan, agus Shane MacGowan, leich mór eile dúsa Shane MacGowan. So Rowney Misha, a pair of brown eyes with the Pogues. So chait Misha tamil fada I London, chamai, ag bhí na Pogues a rolas agam revision. I did spend a lot of time in London because the Pogues are really London Irish band more than Irish. But I already knew the Pogues growing up. And Tasha Jacker, Kiana Weiner Renu, ach, Kaimera Gurabesho and Taran is Farlum the Chudge the Pogues. Very difficult to choose again, but I think I would have to say it's this one from me. There's Rainy Night in Soho and Fairy Tale and so many. Broad Majestic Shannon, but a pair of brown eyes from me. Agus bhealach massam gur cinneal gerscéal an tóran seo. I feel like the story, again, it's kind of a wee short story on its own. Agus Marisol Ditch Emma is gerscéal misha. As you know, I'm a short story writer from time to time. Ach an scéal seo tá cúpla fear sa scéal agus búlinn siad le chéile I deach tairne tá córa acu. Ach, Neil Moran Olish Ogin, Neil na Sunri ar fad Ogin. So it's a story in which two men meet in a pub and have a conversation, but we don't have much information. We don't get many details about just exactly what has happened and why people are feeling like this. So it's left oscilche, open-ended istocha, and there's no firm conclusion. Agus tachnin sé sin go mórlam. I really enjoy that for some reason. Agus tá sé galanta, tá curfa galanta, a rovan I'll go for a pair of brown eyes. So it's just lovely as well. So tá mé cinse gur chula tú an tóran sin, Emma?
Ó chuúla go cinnte. Taithníonn de Pogues go mór le maithair agus bhíoh sé siad i gcónaí le cloisiint sa chóir nó sa bhean aige. So yeah, the Pogues, my dad really loves the Pogues, and I'd always have heard them in the car or in the van, whatever vehicle he may have been driving. Agus taithníonn an ceann sin go mór liom. Agus táte Jacker, and it is difficult to pick one. Spansel Hill is stocha ní ceann le the Pogues a gceiste le sin nó ní ceann le Shane MacGowan ach taithníonn tá go chomá le sin anna lauder domsa. So it's not a song, Spansel Hill, the one I did, isn't a song by the Pogues, but Shane MacGowan's voice, I think it really adds to it.
Yeah, is éascan rud Shane MacGowan a bhallú ar bhaith leis an chumadúireacht. It's easy to praise him for his composing and his lyric writing and that, but they did traditional songs and covers, of course. Some of the best Pogue songs are covers, like the band played Waltzing Matilda. It's unreal, but it's just the power of the delivery or something.
Yeah.
So, Leich Mór agus Chalma Jinnarí great hero that we lost last year. So, and Chéador an Ella, Emma?
Yeah, segue stocha anna bheoganson ach ag leir faoi maithir. So a little segue there to my father talking about his love of the Pogues. Agus cad a bhíle cloisiint agus mé ag fás níos leis. So what was to be heard, or what I listened to when I was growing up. The next one I have, no an céad ceann eile ná Ghost Town le The Specials. So taithníonn na Specials liom, agus rinne mé darúdarú ar feadh na blianta. Agus ní raibh sim agam in éon rud áirithe agus mé óg. So I kind of forgot about them for a good few years because I wasn't really interested in anything particular when I was young. Déis mé leis na hárán a bhí á chasa ag má hisismóirí, so I listened to the songs that my parents were playing agus fiúníor of Cormac go mar céimh á canna, so I didn't even know who was really singing them. Agus an son hánig mé, I came to my senses as stocha, agus nosig mé ag éisteach le ceol agus a géirí fád má cad a haithníonn lom. So I started listening to music and trying to figure out what I liked. Agus fós ní liste go mórinte cad a haithníonn lom. Bhín meascán anna bhór agam de Shine listí ar Spotify agus so má chun duine ceist or an céináis ceol a haithníonn leat, ní féidir lom ceann bháin around. So I've many a playlist on Spotify with a very big mix of music, and even if someone asked me what I like, I couldn't tell you. Taithníonn an ceann seo liom is tócha ó thaobh an atmosphere atá le fáil agus tá sé anna Taon sé a bhaimar, ní liste gom céin fá, ach just taon sé a bhaimar. It really just affects me when I listen to it. It's almost like an audiobook in one sense, domsa. So
very visual again, almost.
Yeah. So ag leir faoi Crín an Ochtadaí, tháinig sé seo amach go más na Ochtadaí. So talking about my show Crín an Ochtadaí, this came out in the 80s. I wasn't alive in the 80s. Ach, ní liste gom céin fá, taon annachchuid den ceol ón Ochtadaí go mór Weimar. So I didn't plan that I really like music from the 80s. It's just happened. Agus bhí sé deacair dom freisin ceann around mar seo mar bhí mé féachaintir The Specials. So it's two-tone band-ish in, so it's hard for me. I was trying to choose. I'm looking at The Specials. It's a two-tone band. Chuma leis sin taon Madness, tá Madness le fáil freisin, a little bit different. Ach fós an rud céanna. Ach, fioc mé seo mar cé go bhfuil sé sáid doracha. Ní churann sé níisiil brí mé. So even though this is kind of a dark song, it doesn't depress me to listen to it, which I think is good.
Yeah. Well, is bralams to The Specials chumai agus hannet me iad bio I London. It's a studio BBC vi ticéid Stephen Ashka agam for me Arlenia Bager Hartford Jeff Mleno hen no níos móna Jeff Mleno just over 10 years ago I saw them live, free tickets for a BBC concert in Maida Vale. Bhí an disworkach Steve Lamacq on, famous English DJ, was there. Ach, bhí sé sin ar cheann den na ceolchoirmeacha is fearr a tháinig mé riamh. One of the best ever concerts I've been at. So tá sé go héintach. Ach, agus is classicach Ghost Town chuma. Not sure how famous it would be around the world, but it's really, really well-known, beloved hit in England for sure. Everybody loves Ghost Town, I would say. Of course, in Father Ted, it was An Tora Nashinta, the national anthem. If you remember that episode. Tag mai, Intas asta leis na rana seo. So, in a sin, carata ogam, well, Louis Tehin an atmosphere. So, ta or an atmospheric ogam sa inish, agus seo The Big Ship, le Brian Eno. Since you mentioned atmosphere, this is a very atmospheric piece of work. In fact, it's an ambient instrumental piece of electronic music. Only a few minutes long. It comes and fades in and fades out again. Ach, ma thuirm se, tá sé galanta. I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. Maithíonn sé go bhfuil rudaí ag teach agus ag imeacht sa cheol seo. Feels like things are coming in and leaving. So, nuair a tháinig mé an teidil, The Big Ship, bhreath mé go raibh mé ar chrucht nó ar bhullach sléimhe ag féchins síos ar chuan agus long mór ag teach nó ag imeacht go máil. So, listening to it, I really felt like I was on a hill or a mountaintop overlooking a bay with a big ship in the bay, and it's moving so slowly you don't know if it's leaving or arriving. So yeah, ceol an scoth atá on, and inta suamhnach ar fad, inta suamhnach. Very relaxing, peaceful music. So what about your rolas agah while hín tíobh éisteach leis? Don't know that I'd recommend it. Ach ní léon churfa mór on. There's no big chorus. There's no drop, and there's no rap in the middle. It's just a very soothing, gentle piece of music. So clú agus caithfidh bainte amach ag Eno le haghaidh léireachain le U2 agus Talking Heads agus Coldplay fiú. Ach na seachtóidí bhí album áille ige. So he's famous these days really as a producer for the likes of U2 and Talking Heads and Coldplay. But in the 70s, he still does it a bit, but in the 70s, he made some amazing albums of his own that are just really gorgeous, I think. So tá an Toran sin Garda Machri Fasta. That's very close to my heart too. Is that a new one for you?
Oh yeah, tá déis mé leis. Yeah, so it's definitely a new one for me. I listened to it. I really like it. Níor chur go mer Brian Eno, embarrassingly. So I'd never heard of him, embarrassingly. Ach, gur maithagad as sin mar, yeah, tá fánar níos mó a chluisiint, so I want to hear more from him. So thanks for the recommendation.
Yeah, well, hopefully I've done you a good service there. Okay, so an chéadú an eile mar sin?
Ja, an chéadú an eile. Sin tá sé inisig féchant ar an lista chuir mé le chéile. Feicim go bhfuil go raibh annach chud ó maithair, a tháinig ó maithair. So looking at my list now, I realised my father had a bigger influence on me than I thought. Agus leis an árán seo, tá Shine lista agam ar Spotify agus meascán de reggae agus ska a tháinig. Go mór for reggae. So I have talking about this song, I have a big list on, or a big playlist on Spotify with a mix of reggae and ska, more so reggae. Agus vi found rud éigen to chuirteach a bhfuil feel good agus fós reggae style. Now, so I wanted to have a song in here that was feel good and reggae. Now, go háirithe le reggae, tá na beats go húntaach, ach bíonn na rudaí a bhíonn siad ag caint faoi an a bhrónach, you know, on a political sin gohúntaach agus, you know, bechor dó bhí sin dhéanamh. So a lot of the lyrics in reggae music is very political, or, you know, and it's very upsetting and sad. So Nira fánar díru isteach rud mar sin, mar chun bheith éisteach le seo the héal fad. So I didn't want to directly go into anything too sad or too political if I'm to listen to this song for the rest of my life. So bhí sé deacair dom ceann.
Adóid ar an uile.
Yeah, so bhí sé deacair, mar bhí liste eile agam, so it was very difficult because I had a different list that I could have put together. But I'd be in a different mindset there. So Hogue me and Count saw, and not even from a reggae singer, I suppose, or from a group, it's Bad Manners. I thought stocha nascaha le, you know, ten sheet dumpsa ten sheet fin Tedal Kena le the specials agus Madness agus Marshinde. So how big do you love me? So Bad Manners go in under the same title or the same, I suppose, umbrella as Madness and the specials, etc., etc. And cada hánig chun cín ná an tárán eile sin lip up fatty sin go húntaach ar fad freisin. Taithnín an ceann seo beagání níos mólam. So I was going to go for a different one by Bad Manners, but this one I prefer a little bit more. Tá sé granúr, it's funny. Tá sé, says, you know, gal freisin, it's bright, it's happy. Agus níl mór an cainte le cloisiint agus, or no, níl mór an canna le cloisiint. There's actually not a lot of singing to be heard, but more so chora, a conversation between two people that I really like.
Agus oran ma le bheith ag dausa.
Sin a good one to dance, yeah. Agus mar yeah, bhí mé really díriú isteach me Ilan Lumhain. So I was really focusing on the title of being on an island by myself. Agus, yeah. It's so gur.
I think I would be miserable with my choices. I might be miserable. It's bralam the horanjin, so ni horanjin brown or them. They're so good. I love them. They don't make me feel sad. But I didn't think about cheering myself up on the island. Achas bralam níl ólas mór agam Bad Manners hain, achas bralam the specials Madness agus an stíl sin, you know, a ríis in London bhí cairde agam a bhí buinte leis an genre sin, leis an stíl sin. So I do love that whole genre myself. You know, again, English connections there too for me, and Jamaican music is just phenomenal. I nearly chose a Jamaican song myself. We McSwing Chew or Desmond Decker. I love Desmond Decker. August ta ora nege Fu Manchu and Tedulair. August tan atmosphere gahaling ta sich kinyal spooky. So Nero and Chansha Rolasugum ag deist belesh August is Mahame August vein brass as the Darsalish a kosher Megan. So new one for me again, but I like it and I'd love to dance to it at a party one of these days. Cahalin. So Oranella the Machaj Hain August. Well, when you were talking about music, upbeat music, I was thinking I often like upbeat music with sad lyrics. I think that's a nice combo. Ach sachasho Remy me Kjol Bronach August lyricy Bronacha. So sad music and lyrics. I love you Porgy le Nina Simone. So Shan Oran o Hjol drama George Gershwin. So it's music from what are they called? An opera by George Gershwin, Porgy and Bess. Agus ta an Hjol drama sin fecca ugam im latli blame to hin agus ta Summertime the clishstyle sa Hjol drama kena. So I've seen this opera before, and the famous song "Summertime" is also from this. Ach an ceann a hain go smir on them. Na I Love You Porgy. The one that really gets me is I Love You Porgy, and especially Legan Nina Simone. Miles Davis does a fantastic one too, of course, but it's hard to beat Nina, isn't it? So tá sé fear bhrónach really sad ach galanta. Agus den chud is mó clisin tú an piano agus gochnine agus is lór sin den chud is mó. So mostly just piano and voice, but isn't that enough when you've got Nina Simone? So is bralam and snug hiol chama. I love jazz. Na Sean Commodore sin Gershwin agus Cole Porter Nadini sin na Noran sin or a Doctor, the Great American Songbook na leihin to show. So I love all those old composers like Gershwin and Cole Porter who composed all of the songs that we now call the Great American Songbook. The jazz musicians were playing Ella Fitzgerald and everybody. So just Capam gohfuil sé galanta an toran sin. Ní racha dósa leis ach tá sé galanta. You wouldn't go dancing to it, but it's lovely. Chula tú an toran seo, Emma?
Níor chula mé ach uair a bháin chur mé an Shine-liste nu an CD or siúl ní an CD ach an fáil ar líne. So I actually put the soundtrack of Porgy and Bess ar siúl on one time agus déis mé tríd ach níor éach mé ar na hárán go léir Lohain is dócha. I didn't look at the songs or listen to the songs on their own. Ach tá níon Nina Simone lom tá cúpla dá árán or dá hárán in má Shine-liste go cinnte ar línan. So I have a few of her songs in my playlists here online.
Oh, cinnte.
Yeah, for me, sure, I'll definitely put this one on now. Trish or go raw after our conversation.
Maybe not at a party, just.
No.
Everyone will be crying. Okay. So tamatig dridjum leishateru, drawing towards the end. So kade an toran jerinach at a reinhe agat Emma.
So nor vimer ag cur na liste le chéile stocha. Nu na listí le chéile dúirtúlam chun rudéigent as gaeilge chur isteach ar nóig. So when we were putting the list together, Neil asked me to put in an Irish song, an Irish language song ar nóig, of course. So bhí sé sin aniachar. Is tóchar sin an rud is deacra dom. I think that is the most difficult one here out of all of them. Agus bhí cúpla ceann na gom sa liste, solar smuoinnig mé ar an gceann seo. So I had a few in the list until I thought of this one. Agus cuireann an tárán seo ar bóthaí na smuointe mé. So this really brings back memories, this one. Agus nor a bhí mé sa bhunscoil in Dungarvan. So I was in primary school in Dungarvan. Dála míamar an tárán seo. We learned this song. Agus gráine an tanimetá ar an árán. An bhfuil an árán seo or an tárán seo ar ólas agat, Neil?
Ní ró tá sé cliste agam in níis agus tá sé galan ach nó níor chola mé faoi ribh seo.
Okay, so yeah, it's not, or yeah, Neil Curamach I gachtainna ar an árán seo. So not everyone knows this song. Agus ní raibh is agam céin fá. I didn't really know why. Ach mar dúirt mé bhí sé goin ar scoil dála míamar é le chéile agus bhí sé gcónaí á chana goin agus muid ag pérod ar scoil. So we all learned it together in school, my sister included, and we always used to sing it then at whatever event would happen at school. Agus díoch mé ar líne, I looked online, agus chnic mé gur scríomh fearr ó na Déise. So someone from the Waterford area actually wrote it. Agus Neil Moran Erlina Fui, there's not a lot online about it. Ach tá Siamh Erlina le Balúchan the Árán ó Gaeltacht na Naoise. So there's a site online with a collection of songs from Gaeltacht na Naoise, the Gaeltacht where I am from, nearby anyway, ní an Gaeltacht í féin. Ach
is tócha gohfuil sé Jackar chuireadh Google a dhéanamh ar
Gráine.
Very hard Google there, because there will be hundreds of singers called Gráine.
That's it. Sinné agus tagan Gráine Bhil agus óró sé de bheitha bhaile agus mar sinnte. So you know, all of the different songs with Gráine come up. But this one an ceann seo, scríomh fearr dár bhanam Pádraig ó Millé or ó Maile Neil Kinta, so a man called Padraig O'Malley, no Millet, wrote it. Agus bas na Skechini a gunte forklárige though. So he was from na Skechini in Waterford, in County Waterford now, Knocker Kester and fui cadé na Skechini as Béarla. Don't ask me what Skechini is even in English, but Bhí tá árán eile a scríobh sé ann agus an tanamatáir ná Sliabh Gal Gua na Féile. And that's, so he has another famous song, Sliabh Gal Gua na Féile, and that's actually his more famous song. Ach tanín an tárán seo leom chuann sé sais áthas orm agus mé á chana cé nach bhfuil ní árán fear áthasach beidir gur bé ach it's not a very overly happy song, but it just makes me happy when I sing it or when I hear it. Is scéal faoi chalín gráine agus tá si ag teachtar neis chun na Gaeilge. So she's coming back to Irish. It's about a girl who went with English but is coming back to Irish. Agus Tommy de Geary moon hamid Gaeilge the Grania, no moon hamid Gaeling the Grania. So we'll teach Irish to Grania. Agus an rud that haníon lumps of fresh now. The other thing that I like is na focail in a glushan to Gaelgan in Asia. So I really like when you hear Gaelgan in Asia in their bain, the Grania voch gatain agus gabain, so bin no bean or sweet. So tá sé sin anava nor a hatu o chana ach níl mór an líne leis. There's not a lot online. Is féidir cór fearn in Asia all YouTube, so you can get it with Cór Fearn in Asia or the men's choir of the Daisha. Agus tá legan nua eile inis le DNE. There's another new version done recently. Agus big, tá nasca goin le sin. We'll have a link to that as well. Agus tá sé anias ar fad freshen. It's really, really nice. So yeah, tá níon sé lom. It's even no me really, actually. I really love it, this one.
Well, buinn sé le de cheantar dúchas is tócha.
Yeah,
it's all related to your home area. Agus se cinse an toran dearnach atá ugamsa or an Gaeilge tán nói. Yes, of course, we've got an Irish language choice for my last song too. And this is another one that's really related to an area, but in Chile cantor fuile. Ach ní me cantor dúchas hain. Not my own particular area, but I do remember what you're saying there about the local Gaeilge, and then we've got some examples of that. So show or an Hulamate den Cheder Imlena. It's a song I heard this year for the first time, believe it or not. Nervime er Ilan Hurry. When I was up in Tory Island off Donegal coast, I heard this song. August is talking about show and Oran Nation to Hurry atá gist is tócha. It started with the Tory national anthem for the Kingdom of Tory. And Chulamin Toran shall gahla August Mayor and Ilan Vidini Jifrila Achana. I heard it every day on the island. Different people were singing it. And I should mention the name of it, of course. Shall Oran na Skadan. Oran na Skadan, which means the herring song. Skadan is the herring fish. So Oran tradition to Ella ton or no another old traditional song. Agus an scéile ta an ta shan iskra ig smuintju an saile viige agus imwi an araga ig iskaracht. Agus sinne. So an old not farmer, an old fisherman is thinking about when he could the life he spent on the sea fishing and all of that, and it's he's looking back. There's a bit of sadness because he's getting older, and there's a lot of warmth because he's got these fond memories. But you can feel the harsh realities of life in a difficult place to live in the song as well. Tashi Galanta and Talyogan je says mir je. There's a wee snip of it. Her album new Kneecap on Kneecap's new album. There's a wee clip of it. Agus tá fishan adul hartanish the Kneecap achanu agus tá sé galanta chamai. There's a video of them singing it live at some Q&A just recently, and it's a great video. They even stick in some harmony vocals in there too, so that's well worth a look. Ach bhhaithlam Liogan Achul Achur in Chin list. I'd rather put a local version, not a Belfast version, but a Tory Island version on our playlist. So that's what we have. And just to mention one of the local bits of language, maybe there's a word when you say you're thinking. Would you say Emma Tame Ixmuinov? Is that how you would say it?
Yeah, Tame Ixmuinov, yeah.
Now, that same word in Ulster Irish would say it's Ixmuinju. But in Ulster Irish, there's actually a T in it as well, Ixmuinju. A lot of Ulster people will say Ixmuinju. But on Tory Island, what I heard was not Ixmuinju, but Ixmuchu. So the word is traveling a lot. And the AOI there sounds like an U. That's something I've heard in Gaelic na Halaban. That's something I've heard in Scottish Gaelic, when the letters AO sound like an U instead of more like an E over in Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
So Tory Island being off the north coast, you know, there's probably it's part of that continuum where it's a little bit closer to Scotland and certainly a bit further from Nadesha. So Shinne, Oran Naskadan, the herring song, I just heard it every day for a week and I fell, hits me in Ra, Lishan Oran Shah. So it's brala me. Chula tú an Toran Shaw, Emma?
Chula me nor a churtu sa fudcréile eile a dhéanamh. So I heard it when you linked it in the other podcast that you did about your travels to Tory Island. So near chula me go dtí sin.
Yeah. I would have mentioned it. I didn't go singing it.
Okay, well, on Sun, I went searching then. I went searching, I think. Ach, tá sé go háling ar fad.
Oran Kailulella as Tory on Budgie Nelamy.
Yeah, sin an ceiste bhí a gom nach é Budgie Nelamy on National Anthem a hága.
So there's a lot of music up there, folks. If you love your singing, you can go into any bar and there will be just people singing. It's actually fantastic ar fad. So Sinead an liste a chaide mar a dúirtmuid bé an sin liste no tan sin liste ar fáil hís. So is féidir live éisteach leis na horain ar fad. Agus inti gi doing cadid disci G reva there were good hain. Agus an dachnín na horain seo a reading michna live. So that's all, folks. You've got our Desert Album discs here. You can listen to them at the playlist below and tell us about them. Do you enjoy these songs too? And also, what are your Desert Album discs? You can leave a comment below. Okay, Slán live.
Slán.